a little bit of an incident involving my 8-year-old daughter, a door, a monitor, and a tub of coconut oil. I'd set up my harp in the room to play after work, and I'd gone to make her dinner. She came into the room, didn't realise the harp was behind the door. To be honest, hands up, not the greatest place to leave it, but cut a long story short, the harp went into the monitor went into the tub of coconut oil, and the coconut oil, which for some unknown reason was liquid, went absolutely everywhere. Absolutely covered the harp, covered the table, covered the wall. I don't even know how it got up the wall. And it was an absolute nightmare to clean up. But that was probably the more minor of my worries, which wasn't the greatest of days. My main worries was the harp, and it did sustain some damage as a result. So I've got 2 broken levers up here. I've lost a G string, and you quite possibly won't be able to tell all the way up here, but this lever here, this bottom B, has lost its pin, and the pin is the bit that, when you hold it back, holds down the string and changes the tone half a step. So it's kind of crucial to the functioning of the apparatus. So I was quite pleased today when I came back home from work and I found this, which has a postmark from France, and I believe it is a lever repair kit which Camac sell. So here is a close-up of the damaged areas. So you can see here the 2 broken levers. If you have a look profile-wise, you can see that this E here sits slightly up from where you would expect it to be. And up here you can also see that this whole lever is actually slightly bent, and the pin that should be just here is missing. So you can see it quite clearly there, and that one, and I've got that pin somewhere. And last but not least, 1 missing G string. So this is the first time I've had a go of fixing it. I'm not complete nutcase. I did have a look on the Camac website, and they do have a video detailing how to do this. So it's going to be a case of, can I follow instructions? So let's have a look inside the packet and see what we've got in here. Here we've got a nylon G string to replace that one. Perfecto. Thank you, Camac. This is so I can see that we seem to have in here a selection of different levers depending on where in the harp they sit. I'm guessing they're different sizes. And in addition, we've got 3 of some unusual type of screwdriver and a bunch of rather quite long looking screws. So see what else is in the bag. Looks like another set of exactly the same screwdrivers and levers. Okay, fair enough. Could do a whole harp with those. Well, I'm certainly not going to complain. Thank you very much, Camac. Let's see if I can follow your instructions. Right, so here we go. I'm going to start off with the broken A string at the top, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, how hard can it be? So first you want to grab your bag marked fixation with the screwdrivers and the screws, and you want to grab whichever screwdriver fits these on there. You are also going to need your tuning key. So the first step is to take your tuning key and to detune your string. And you need to try and take the lever off, and then try and take the string out and leave it off to the side where it's out of the way. I've found it easiest to start off with the bottom string. I have the DHC 36 Electro, which does not have a soundboard, but apparently if you have a soundboard you need to be careful of not dropping the screw. You probably want to be careful of that anyway, because you don't want to lose the screw, and I don't want to damage any of the pickups on this harp. So handle with care. Now I'm going to do the top string. Apparently some levers have a metal spacer behind. This one appears not to. But when you're doing this, make sure you have a check behind just in case, and if it's got one, be extra careful trying to take this out. And try and support this so that when it does come out it doesn't fall over onto the rest of your harp. And there you go. So the next step in the process is to take these 2 screws off of here and take this lever off. So for this one I am going to grab my smallest screwdriver from the fixation bag and undo that carefully, trying extremely hard not to lose this tiny little screw that I can barely see. And now time for the other one. And theoretically, it comes off just like that. Okay, so the next step is you've got 3 bags. That one quite obviously says bass. One says medium, and this one seems to have the smallest levers in the lot. So what I did is I took these ones out and I compared them with the size of the levers on my harp, and the first 12 or so strings seem to use this size lever, and I'm guessing the metal bass ones use these ones, and I'm guessing all the rest use these ones. So they obviously expect you to break more C's and F's, because you get 2 C's and 2 F's and 3 other ones, which is fine, I guess. If you happen to break more of the others, you can just take the bit of tape that colours the lever off. So I've got my brand new lever here, and I believe you're supposed to line this up with a particular notch, so I don't know if you can see it there, and there's a little notch in there as well, so one goes into the other. So this bit is like playing Tetris, and then once that's in, you need to try and screw your little screws back in. Which is easier said than done. I'm sure there's a technique. If someone knows it, please tell me. There we go. The only thing I could recommend to our friends at Camac is some magnetic screwdrivers. Would make this a lot easier. Okay, and there we have the new lever attached. Now the next step is stick this on the harp, and job done, I believe. So just one more thing before I put this back on the harp is I notice as I'm moving this up and down, this feels quite loose, and I'm guessing that's just because of the impact of the harp falling over and, you know, all that weight being transferred onto here. I mean, it must have been quite a impact for it to have the strength to break this, because this is pretty solid. And what it seems to have also done is it seems to have loosened this mechanism. This wasn't on the video, but I would recommend just checking the tightness of this screw here and on the inside, and just tightening that up a bit if it feels a bit loose to you before sticking it back. I think that's just because in my case the impact was obviously enough to just jar that and loosen that a bit, so yeah, that feels a bit better. Feels more like the level of resistance you normally have when changing the levers up and down. One more thing before I put this back on again. I was just putting it back on and I noticed, comparing it to the levers next to it, I don't know if you can tell there, but there's a very slight bend just there as it goes, so it's not quite as straight as it used to be. So there must have been quite some impact for it to actually bend this whole section, but I'm going to stick it on, fingers crossed, and hopefully that'll be enough to get me playing again. And so the next step is to try and reattach the lever. So you'll need one of the big long screws and the big screwdriver from the fixation kit. And then screw it in. Camac recommend that you do it halfway and then do the bottom one before tightening everything up. One thing I'll also recommend if you've had an accident like mine is I've actually had a look at the string and I don't think it's in the greatest condition afterwards, so I actually think I really needed a new A string up from the top here, but I didn't get one, so I'm going to try it out as it is and see how we go, but it might be worth, if you're doing an order from their online shop, it might be worth just double checking that, because it's going to be a lot cheaper postage and otherwise to just get it all in one shop than to do multiple orders over time. And then all you need to do, make sure your string is still detuned, and then you just need to slip that back on into its groove, and then tighten it back up. It seems to be okay when it's the G sharp. That seemed to be less than half a step on the A. And to be honest, I think, I don't know if you can tell there, but the gap between there and, I think it might be to do with the bend in this piece of metal. So it might be a case of me having to replace this piece of metal here. I'll have to see if Camac do a replacement for that. Anyway, I'll get the other one done in the meantime, and then I can get back to playing. To be honest, most of my repertoire doesn't include anything that uses the top A string, so I think I should be able to get away with not having it on there